I know surds seem awful, but surds are just a simplified way of writing out numbers. So if we wanted the square root of 5, writing square root of 5 is actually quite a nice, easy number to write out. It's much easier to write out than 2.236067977, which is a long and horrible number to write out. So we just say the square root of 5. So what it is a way of simplifying writing out numbers. When we're dealing with surds, they can seem rather nasty. So you might be asked to simplify something like square root of 8. Now, whenever you see this, you need to look down your list here and decide which of these numbers can you divide 8 by. Now, I know that I can divide 8 by 4. So I'm going to do that, divide 8 by 4. 8 divided by 4, that is going to give us 2. So I can say that the square root of 8 is equal to the square root of 4 times 2, because 8 is equal to 4 times 2. And I can also say that the square root of 4 times the square root of 2 is equal to the square root of 8. All I've done is put them into separate square roots here. Now we know what the square root of 4 is because it's over here on our list, that's 2. So we can remember that as 2 times the square root of 2. We don't really need to write the times down, that is just 2 square root 2. So square root of 8 simplifies to 2 square root 2. Simplify the square root of 50. Look down our list here, what can we divide 50 by? We can divide it by 25. So we can say that square root of 50 is equal to 25 times 2. That is equal to the square root of 25 times the square root of 2. The square root of 25 we know is 5 square root 2. Simplify the square root of 12. Again, look down our list. Whenever you see a surds question, I want you to write this list down. Can 12 be divided by any of these numbers? Yes, we can divide 12 by 4. So that gives us the square root of 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that's the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. The square root of 4 is 2. So that is 2 square root 3. Simplified square root of 45. 45 can be divided by 9, so that gives us 9 times 5. So that gives us the square root of 9 times the square root of 5. The square root of 9 is 3, so that is 3 square root 5. Simplify square root of 125. So looking down our list, I can see that 125 can be divided by 25. So 25 times 5 is equal to the square root of 125. Square root of 25 is 5. So that gives us 5 square root 5. Slightly more complicated now, we have two surds that we need to multiply by each other. So we're going to put them in one big one. So 80 times 5. Now we need to know what 80 times 5 is. So doing that sum, we come up with the square root of 400. And looking at our list, 400 is on our list. So the square root of 400 is 20. Square root of 27 times the square root of 3. So putting those into 1, we have 27 times 3. 27 times 3 is 81. Looking at our list down here, 81 is 9 squares, so the square root of 81 is 9. Square root of 6 times square root of 8 times square root of 3, we can write that as one big one. So 6 times 8 times 3. 6 times 8 times 3 is 144. Looking at our list, we can see that 144 is 12 squared, so the square root of 144 is 12. Square root of 6 times square root of 2 times square root of 12. 6 times 2 times 12 gives us square root of 144. Looking at our list, square root of 144 is 12. Square root of 2 times square root of 5 times square root of 5 times square root of 2. 2 times 5 times 5 times 2. 2 times 5 times 5 times 2 is 100. That is on our list. The square root of 100 is 10. These ones are getting ever so slightly more complicated now because we have a number outside and a number inside the square root. So 4 square root 5 means the 4 used to be in the square root and came out. So we need to look at this list and find out what 4 squared is, because what we're going to be doing is saying that this is equal to 4 squared times 5. 4 squared is 16, so 16 times 5. Now we need to work out what 16 times 5 is. So that is the square root of 80. Doing the same for the other one. We are saying that that is 2 squared times 3. 2 squared is 4 times 3. So that is the square root of 12. So now we need to do 80 times 12 gives us the square root of 960. Now we need to divide this by, have a look at our list over here, see what we can divide it by, see if we can simplify this in any way. And we can say that 960 is equal to 64 times 15. So that gives us the square root of 64 times the square root of 16. Square root of 64 is 8 square root 15. If we are dividing cells, it is exactly the same as we would divide any number. So square root of 50 divided by square root of 2 is equal to the square root of 25. Looking at our list, the square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 640 divided by the square root of 10 gives us the square root of 64. Square root of 64 from our list is 8. Square root of 175 divided by the square root of 7 gives us square root of 25. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 54 divided by the square root of 6 is the square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 320 divided by the square root of 5 gives us the square root of 64. Square root of 64 is 8. Last style of question here, this is multiplying out the brackets. So our nice little smiley face there. So we have 5 times 4 is 20, cross out the one we've just done. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3, this is the tricky bit, is 3. 4 times the square root of 3 is 4 times the square root of 3. 5 times the square root of 3 is 5 times the square root of 3, giving us an answer of 23 plus 9 square root 3. Again, here is another one. So 7 times 7 is 49, plus the square root of 3 minus the square root of 3 is going to give us minus 3. So I've done that one and I've done that one. Plus 7 square root of 3 minus 7 square root of 3 gives us an answer, because these two cancel out, of 49 minus 3, 46. Next one here, square root of 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 4 times the square root of 4 is 4. 2 times the square root of 2 is 2 square root 4, sorry. 2 times the square root of 4 is 2 square root 4. So we have 8 plus 4 square root 4. Drawing in our lines. No matter how good you are at these, please draw in your lines. 9 times 9 is 81. Minus the square root of 2 plus square root of 2 gives us minus 2. Minus 9 square root of 2 plus 9 square root of 2. These ones cancel, giving us 81 minus 2, giving us 79. Last one here for you. So 4 times 6 is 24. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. Plus 6, the square root of 5, plus 4, square root of 5. So we have 29 plus 10 square roots of 5. Those are all the skills you need in Surds. More complicated questions are coming, but these are the basics which you should know really well, so you can apply to any question no matter how complicated or scary it looks. I love this question. Congratulations to whoever thought of it. It is a work of genius. But I know most of you don't feel that way. I know most of you look at this question and are horrified. So we have 26 over the square root of 2 minus 12 over the square root of 18 plus 2 square root of 50. And we need to write it in this format here. The first thing we do, as we do with any Surds question, is list down the sides our square numbers. So this question needs to be tackled in 3 parts. We have part 1, part 2 and part 3, and it doesn't really matter which one you start with, we just need to make each part look like this. Now I'm going to start with this part because it's closest to this at the moment. Now we have 2 square root 50. We can take the 50, and what we want to end up with is just square root 2 in the middle. So I can take the 50, divide that by 2, so I end up with 2 square root 25 times 2. So I've taken the 50, I've divided it by the number that I want in the middle, which is 2, and fortunately we can see that 25 is one of our square numbers. So this can now be written as 2 square root 25 times the square root of 2. The square root of 25 is 5. So that is 2 times 5 square root 2. 2 times 5 is 10. So that is 10 square root 2. I'm going to pop that up here so we know that that bit is now 10 square root 2, and I can move on to one of the other bits. So I'm going to start with this one next. So 26 over the square root of 2. If we want to divide something by something and we want to get rid of whatever we're dividing it by, it's nice to have the same thing on the top and the bottom. So what I want to do is put this 26 into a surd. So what I need to do is do 26 squared over the square root of 2. So I need to work out what 26 squared is. So 26 times 26, I'm going to do that in a slight modification of the grid method. I'm going to do 10 times 26, 10 times 26, 5 times 26, and 1 times 26. I know maths teachers are cringing all over the place. So that gives me 260, 260, 130, 26, add all those up, I have 6, 12, 15, 16, 17, 7, carry 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So I can now say that the square root of 676 over the square root of 2 is the same as 26 over the square root of 2. Now, because we want things in this format, and I've got square root of 2 on the bottom, I want to have square root of 2 on the top as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 6 6, and we'll divide that by 2, giving us 3, 3, 8. So now what we have is the square root of 3, 3, 8, square root of 2 over the square root of 2. We've got square root of 2 on the top and on the bottom, so they can cancel each other out, just leaving us 3, 3, 8 as our answer. Now if you look back to the format they want it in, they want it as the square root of 2, so I need to turn this somehow into the square root of 2. The easiest way to do that is just dividing this number here by 2. So I need to do 3, 3, 8 divided by 2, which is going to give us 169. So this is equal to the square root of 169 square root of 2. Now this is where knowing your square numbers up to 13 comes in really handy, because straight away I can see that 169 is the square root of 13, so that gives us 13 square root 2 as a simplified version of this bit here. Now we just have the middle section to deal with. So we have 12 over the square root of 18. I'm going to put the 12 so that I've got a third on the top and the bottom. 12 squared, we should know this one, is 144. So square root of 144 over the square root of 18. Now we need to get the same thing on the top and on the bottom. There are a couple of different ways you can do this. You can just divide 144 by 18, which will give us 8, which will result in just an answer of the square root of 8. Or if you can't do that without a calculator, you can put both of them so they are a square root of 2. So 18 divided by 2 will give us 9. So that is the square root of 9, square root of 2, square root of 9 is 3. So that becomes 3 square root 2. Now ideally we'd want 3 square root 2 on the top as well. So what we can do is we can take 144, we can divide it by 2, which gives us 72, which gives us the square root of 72, the square root of 2. Now because we know from this one here we want to have a 3 square root 2 on top, we can try dividing 72 by 9, which gives us the square root of 8, the square root of 9, the square root of 2. So we then have 3 square root 2, square root 8. Popping that back into the answer, what we get is 144 being equivalent to 3 square root 2, square root 8, square root of 18 being equivalent to 3 square root 2, so they cancel, just leaving us with square root of 8. So square root of 8 there, we want it in the format square root of 2, something on the outside, so we're going to divide that by 2. So we have square root of 4, square root of 2, square root of 4 is 2, so that one becomes 2 square root 2. Now we can put the last little bit in, which is 2 square root 2, so we are left with 13 minus 2 plus 10. 13 minus 2, that is 11 square root 2 plus 10 square root 2 gives us 21 square root of 2. That is, you'll notice that question took a particularly long time to work out. Isn't going to be worth a large amount of marks in the exam, definitely not working a mark per minute here, but I really like this question because it's challenging, it makes you think, and it is definitely going to be the sort of thing that grade 8 or grade 9 student needs to know how to do and not be intimidated by it and to be able to do it quite quickly.